Hey everyone, so first things first, I'm kicking things off by prepping the eye area with my trusty Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. It's a clear primer that I'm just buffing in with a brush, and it's going to help the shadows to adhere better to the eyes, blend that bit easier and last all day long too without creasing. Now I'm taking the No Cosmetics Precision Eyeliner. It's just a felt tip liner pen with a very fine nib, so it makes creating a winged liner very easy to do. As all of you know by now, I use this to create the shape of my liner first. I map out the outline so I have a guide as to where to blend my shadows in from, and then I can just fill this in when I'm finished with my shadows later on. No mess, no fuss. So I've gotten great feedback on my Naked Honey palette series, so I have another tutorial for you all today. The first shadow I'm taking is called Keeper. It's one of my favourite transition shades to use, like ever. It's just a gorgeous light warm golden brown shade, and I'm beginning with a fluffy blending brush to buff this shadow onto the eye area. So I'm just taking this shadow into the crease, and I'm really using large circular motions here on that outer corner, blending that shadow down onto the eyelid and then into the crease, and I'm just really buffing and fading the shadow out up towards the brow bone. I'm reapplying the shadow now, just kind of mimicking the shape of that wing, tapping the shadow down onto the lid at an angle, and then I'm blending across into the crease again. So I've got a nice blend on the first application of this shadow, and now I'm just bumping up the intensity of the shadow just to make the colour pop a bit more on that second application. And I just adore this shadow. It's one that I wear all over the eye on its own regularly. So then I'm using my usual small bullet shaped brush, and I'm taking that Keeper shade just down along the lower lash line, and I'm making sure obviously to connect it on the outer corner as well. Next then I'm taking the shadow drip on a smaller fluffy brush, just so I can be a little bit more precise with my shadow application, and drip is just a deeper warm brown shadow, kind of than that one before. So I'm using big circular motions again, blending at an angle up towards the crease of the eye. I'm keeping the shadow initially to that outer third because that's where I want the most amount of depth, and then when I've less product on my brush, I'm blending and fading this colour across into the crease. I'm reapplying the shadow again because, like the last time, I got a nice blend on first application, but I want that colour to pack more of a punch, and that's why I'm adding another layer. I'm bringing each shadow up higher in the crease than kind of usual because I want this smoky eye to be really nice and blown out, and I'll do the same to the bottom lash line by and by too. So I'm just patting some of that drift down along the lower lash line again, focusing this halfway across, and we'll sort out that inner portion soon. Next then I'm taking this shimmery shade Amber. It's a deep golden brown, kind of more so gold with a metallic finish, and I always start with a spritz of water first, so I like to apply a layer of the shadow wet. I'm patting this all over the first half of the lid. Then I like to go in and reapply again, this time with the shadow wet again, to really help those shimmery particles pop. Then I like to add a dry layer of the shadow just on top to lock everything in place and to further emphasize that shadow. And as you can see, with each layer it just gets more and more intense. Then I'm taking the shadow Sting, which is a deep warm kind of purpley brown that has a matte finish. I'm starting by wriggling this colour into the outer part of the crease. Then I'm sweeping down onto the lid towards that amber shade to blend my matte in with my metallic, and I'm just repeating this process a couple of times until I'm happy with that blend. Going back in now with that larger blending brush again, I've taken the shade Keeper up on the brush and I'm blending over the edge of the shadow. I'm doing this to make sure that we can still see the Keeper shade in the finished look, and to also make sure that the deeper shades fade into it too. And I'm adding it down along the lower lash line as well to really buff and smoke out the shadow low down there. Then I'm taking Sting on my bullet shaped brush and adding this on the outer third of the eye. Once I'm happy with that, I'm taking the shade Amber on an angled brush and just pressing this underneath the lashes from the centre of the lash line right into that inner corner. Then I'm using the shade Demolition in the 24/7 Glide on Eye Pencils from Urban Decay, and then I'm topping it off with Sting again, just pressing this down on top of the waterline to set the shadow in place. Then I'm taking the shade Flyby and I'm using this just to kind of highlight in or around the tear duct of the eye. So I'm just using a small bullet shaped brush to add the shadow there. And then you've seen me do winged liner a million times, so I've just popped that on, literally just coloured in the outline that I mapped out earlier on. I'm adding some lashes now. These are the SoSu ones in the style New York. And then to blend my own lashes in with the false ones, I'm using the Mega Length Mascara from Wet n Wild. And I really like this because the wand is nice and skinny, so you can really get into those lashes. But then that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. Happy New Year, as this is the first time I'm speaking to you all since Christmas. I hope you had a lovely Christmas as well. And I'll catch you all soon.